hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Toy Photography Live. I am your host, Brian Carr. And gosh, we have a special show set up for you guys. This is going to be pretty fun. Before I get into anything, I'm just going to go ahead and just bring them out. So we have our special guest today. This from Insightful Imagery. This is Michael Duggar. Hello,
Hey,
man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
you too, Brian. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. So this is cool for me because man, for as long as we have been doing Toy Photography magazine, as of right now, you are the only diorama builder that we've had featured twice in our
Yeah, I know you're right. Right, man. I must have done something right. Nice. Okay.
So I mean, we just really appreciate the fact that like your tutorials that you give, the steps that you give are really good explanations for everything. And everyone really liked the previous build that you did. So it's like, oh, I mean, bring them
Cool.
back and see. And so it was just really cool to have you here and everything. So
Right
so
on.
yeah, which I'll show you guys. That's the special treat that we have for you guys today. We're actually going to show you the issue or the most recent issue that we have
Mm.
featured Michael in, so you guys can get a chance to see how we do the layout for the tutorial for not just Michael, but for a lot of our builders and everything. But first, before we jump into that, I want to say hello to the folks who have stepped in. Steve, I'm gonna start calling you Faithful Steve, man, because Steve he's here all the time, dude. Is always appreciated the fact you are here, and glad you can join us. We also have Tommy here. Glad to see you, Tommy. Orion is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Bram, man, gosh, this is like still the crack of dawn for you, man, because Bram is in Japan. so,
Oh my gosh.
so yeah.
Yeah. What
So
is
it's
that like
yeah,
18 hours or
I know,
something like that? What is that? I don't even know. It's too far.
right? So yeah, so it is always a treat to see you guys in here. Oh, and we have Trotter. Trotter was like, I am not going to miss this for the world. So so Trotter's here.
Nice.
Glad you guys are here to make it with us. So yeah, we have quite a number of things we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk shop today, and hopefully we can get some questions answered. And also, Michael has already shown a couple of photos today of some of the stuff he's working on. So we're going to take a look at
Right on.
that as well. First, before we get into everything, we definitely want to give a shout out to the ones that are helping to make this channel and this magazine possible. So first, foremost, we want to give a shout out to Jazz Inc. Dioramas. They are currently still taking pre-orders for the Catwoman figure. This is based off of the appearance in Batman Returns. And so there's actually three different versions of this figure. So one, you can get the clean version of the figure, which that already looks nice, head sculpt and everything. And then there's also the battle damage version that we have. So you can pre-order either one of those, but if you pre-order the deluxe that has both figures, then you will also receive this diorama piece that'll go along with it. So I've spoke
Mm.
about them before. Jazzing Dioramas, they just have some really good quality stuff. If you go to their website, you'll see a number of other things that they already have in the works. So yeah, I have a few pieces from them, and so it's just I can't express enough about the detail that they put into their products. So you do not want to miss out on that. Our next person our company want to give a shout out to is Big Bad Toy Store. They were actually the ones who sponsored our Toy Photography Challenge. So if you guys
Nice.
haven't seen those episodes, you definitely want to go check that out, because Big Bad Toy Store actually provided the product for the photographers to use during the show. So we
Cool.
are so grateful for them and all the stuff that they contributed and everything. So definitely want to go check them out, because they have 1/6 scale, 112, 118. I mean, diorama pieces, all kinds of stuff. So I buy from them all the time. So,
They got everything, man.
they
Everything.
absolutely do, man. It's like the superstore
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
No
definitely want
problem.
to give a shout out to them. Also want to let you guys know that we just released this month the new issue of Toy Photography magazine. So this, I mean, just recently, speaking of Big Bad Toy Store and their sponsor, this is our new issue, and we feature George Shizas, who was actually the winner of the Toy Photography Challenge.
Mm.
Uh, to watch those guys evolve, particularly George during the show, it is a sight to see. So we have that. We also have some cool other tutorials that we give in the magazine. So that is currently available. If you click down in the description, you'll be able to see the link to where you can purchase the current issue as well as the previous issues that have been released. So definitely want to jump on that.
Awesome.
So man, Mike, actually, I want to pull up the current issue that you are in because
Mm.
my gosh, man, I just want to show everyone the tutorial uh that we put in so everyone can see that that issue. So this is
Oh
uh
yeah.
the current layout that we have in that issue, which I'll show you guys the front cover so you'll know which one to grab where we feature Mike in there. But this is the tutorial, and I mean, literally, he talks about the materials to use, how to go about doing it. I mean, every single bit of detail that's in the issue. He goes step by step for everything, and so that's one of the things that I like about Mike, because I mean, he goes into complete detail of everything to show you guys what you will, what you'll need. So yeah, so definitely you guys don't want to miss out on that. So I'll show you guys the front cover for that, so you'll know which one that he's featured in, because that way you guys be like, I don't know which issue to get. so so as a matter of fact, I'll show you guys this, 'cause this was after he completed the tutorial. This is
Mhm.
one of the images that he took using that diorama
Yeah,
piece and
yeah,
everything.
it's yeah,
Did you actually make
yeah.
the chest as well?
Oh, yeah. You know me, everything in the shot except for the figures, I design and make. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, I just did that chest and figured, man, what better diorama to use than the dungeon
Right.
diorama, right? I mean,
Yes.
heck.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that turned out really, really well. I mean, I
Thanks.
really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna skip a couple of these images because I'm gonna show you guys the front cover that we have him in. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Gosh, I know I had it. So everyone can see. Oh, you know what? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And now I know why. Hold on one second. I'll pull up this issue right now so you guys can see. Here we go. There it is. There it is. See, those are those moments where you're moving too fast for yourself. and, so
Yeah.
this is currently the front cover of the issue
I
that we
rem
have. Where we
I
have
remember that awesome front
Mike
cover too.
featured in.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes,
I
yes, and
remember
a
that.
great
Yeah, there
interview
was
because oh my god,
God.
the
Yeah, that was
talk with
great.
Felix and the type of stuff that he does for his set
Phew.
pieces, for his photos. I mean, it is just absolutely fantastic. And
Yeah.
then we also featured Patrick, who is a phenomenal poser.
Yes.
So he threw some images in there as well. So this is, I mean, not to downplay Mike, because it has some
No.
great stuff in there as well. But I mean, this issue is just
No.
jam packed with
That's a
all
great
kinds of
yeah.
stuff in there. So yeah, you guys are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's exactly, and that's the whole point of doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be nice to for you guys to pick that up. But again, you guys can go to the link in the description and do this. So oh, Bram says 7 a.m. getting ready. Let's ready for the kids. Oh my gosh, dude. He's over there. So man. So yeah, so this is the front cover, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. So with that said, I'm actually gonna go back to those other diorama pieces that you sent so we can show some of those. So
Cool.
again, this was the one that he submitted, and which I gotta say, it's a great photo. I mean, this without any prior knowledge of knowing that you built all of the stuff, with the exception of the figures, it's still a good photo. so so
Yeah.
and that's just the great thing about it. I mean, there's some guys who they build the dioramas, but when it comes to photos, it's like, uh, okay, we can see the department where you're lacking, but man, Mike, you are the full package when it comes to that. So, I believe this was the other one that you said you're currently working on.
Yeah, so I've been working on this one and it's all done except for the track design. All I
Okay.
have to do now is go in and do the texturing and ZBrush, and then I can start painting these. But yeah, the modeling part of this is all done now. So yeah,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So you designed all of this and then just
Yep.
printed it, or was there some other?
No, I design it all and I print. I have resin printers and FDM printers. Depending on what I want to
Okay.
print, or what type of print it is, I'll use one or the other. Um,
Okay.
and so it's nice with the FDM because I can do a prototype print, and make sure on the FDM because it's fast and cheap. Um, and then I can go ahead and once I'm satisfied everything fits and the scale and everything looks good, then I
Mm-hmm.
can go ahead and after this like test print here, go ahead and start really doing the detail stuff on it in another program, and then they're ready to
Oh,
photograph. So yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
So for those that don't know, what's like for just to get to this stage, what is like the design process that it would take to create and print and everything?
Well, I started really designing this probably on Friday. What's today? Sunday. Probably on Friday morning. Um,
Okay.
but then I go to work. I get up at 3 in the morning, and so I do a lot before I go to work, and then I get off work, and so I really had a few hours on Friday morning to do the floor, the bottom part of the cart, and
Okay.
then over Saturday and Sunday, I did the handle and the gears and all the other stuff, and did a
Mm,
few test prints and sort of fitted everything. So I mean, probably just printing this, the design of this probably, I mean, probably took, 6 hours or something. I don't know,
okay.
not too long. It takes longer to print it and make sure
Yeah.
everything fits than it does to really do the design on some of the stuff. But you can only go so far on the computer where you can see if how things fit. You actually have to at some point print it and put figures on there to make sure everything works good. But
Okay.
you know,
Okay. So
yeah.
for as long as you've been doing this, have you already started to just eyeball it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know what size to make things for figures hands, and I know what size to make things for, pretty much I can eyeball. Like I didn't even if I have a question, I'll go in and I'll convert something from 1/12, like railroad tracks in real life are 4.8 feet across or 4.8 feet across. And
Okay.
so you can go in and with a scale calculator and and convert it to 4.8 inches. But like this cart, I I eyeballed it and didn't do any of the measurements, and I got it within, uh, this is 5 inches across, and a
Okay.
railroad track is 4.8. So I did pretty good eyeballing it.
Okay.
So thankfully, because I would have had
Yeah.
to redo it. But yeah, some stuff I can eyeball now, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Well, man, this I love the process. I mean, it's already looking like it's coming along really, really well. And so I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the finished product is. It's funny that you sent this because I'm already starting to eyeball some things for 1/6 scale because I recently got the Hot Toys Mark III, I guess now they want to call it because that's just a new phrase. But the
Sure.
DeLorean from Part 3
Oh wow.
that
Yeah.
has the train wheels. So
Wow.
it's like trying to now like how am I going to pull that off and
Yeah.
be able to hold the weight of the car and all that
Yes.
stuff. So it's very
Oh yeah.
interesting that you sent sent this.
Yeah.
Um,
No
so
doubt.
the other thing that you worked on, which was this right here, man, which looks really
Oh,
nice, dude. I mean, have you
thanks.
used this for any photos yet?
Yeah, I have. And I designed this because I mean I do a lot of Mythic Legions
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
not I just buy a lot of Mythic Legions figures, and you always need an enchanted forest and a goblin tree or some sort
Right.
of old
Yeah.
tree like this, with the mythical figures. And so I'm like, well, let me try making one. And that was actually one of the first faces I've ever done. So I think it came out
Wow.
pretty decent. You can hide a lot in a tree though. So it doesn't, like, there's no eyeballs. So I don't have to get really detailed with it because it's just a tree. So
True.
uh it's pretty forgiving in a lot of ways to do some of this stuff.
I would say
But
considering the photos that Bram has actually submitted, seeing one of these trees in his photos would fit perfectly for him. So
yeah,
because he did a couple of images where it was like, his figures were in the forest and stuff like that, and actually
yeah.
Link was in the forest. So
Oh yeah.
it would make sense to, have something like this. So so
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
I'm
that
just gonna
picture, I
toss out
think.
there that yeah, he
I
actually
think
has.
yeah.
So we actually have one of his photos today that we're gonna take a look at.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I saw that one today. Yeah, nice.
Uh, so I'm gonna toss it out there that Bram, maybe you should reach out to Mike and see if you can, work something out with
Hey.
that, because this seems like it's right in. So besides the print, like what type of paints did you use to do this, as well as the textures that you got here?
So I model the textures in there, and then I just go through and I do a base. Um, s- every model is different, but this one here, I think I did a base coat. I just rattle can base coat this with a matte,
Okay,
um, dark like espresso color, and then I go and dry brush lighter, like apple barrel paints, lighter
okay,
browns over to give a different look to it. And so I'll use a combination sometimes of spray paint. I'll use a combination of airbrush primer, dry brush apple barrel paints. I use Vallejo paints. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing.
okay.
And then just the flocking on here is just, I think it's woodland scenics turf or something like that. And then I just, you know, get that on there with some watered down PVA glue. Mm,
Wow. Okay. I
yeah.
mean, man, it just looks super nice with the whole detail of everything. I mean, gosh, it just
Yeah.
absolutely looks fantastic.
I did a
So
picture with,
also while we're yeah,
oh, I think I did a picture with Thrace or Thrice, however you say her name, from Mythic Legions. It's a female figure. I did a picture with her in there with that tree
okay,
in the back. Looked pretty cool. Yeah.
nice,
Nice.
nice, nice. Okay, which I'm gonna toss this out there for those of you that are watching. We're going to be welcoming questions as well. So anytime that we're
Mhm.
chatting, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Mike about any builds or pieces like that, feel free to ask away, and we'll throw them in. Actually, we have let's see, we got one from Bram here. Uh, a corroded rust texture for once. Oh, okay,
that's that's actually my specialty is rust.
really?
Uh, I'm going to tell you, and I have a lot of tutorials on how to do rust and how to do the texturing on YouTube. I think I have them on my Patreon also. But if you ever
Okay,
go to my Instagram, you'll see lots of rust. A matter of fact, I think that dungeon diorama, you can see rust on those bars and in the rusty cage in the back that the skeleton is inside. Uh, and
okay,
the way, I mean, if you want to know a quick way to just basically build up rust texture before you do rust coloring, because there's two different things. There's the texture part of it, then there's a coloring part of it. Um, just a quick cheat is a cinnamon and Mod Podge mixed together, and you stipple that onto the model, and that's going to give you once the Mod Podge dries clear, of course, it leaves behind the very bumpy texture of the ground cinnamon, and that's my
mm,
go-to. Yeah, that's my
okay,
go-to. If you for that, is this my Instagram? Yeah,
yeah,
if you scroll down a little bit to keep going, look at that cage right there. So look at that cage, um, right there. Yep, that cage, and there's a quick reel on how I do it. There's cinnamon and Mod Podge on there with some rattle can. See, there's a
okay.
cinnamon and Mod Podge mixture. It's drying. Once it dries, I'll go in there with uh, I'll go in there with pigments and isopropyl alcohol, and I'll create the rest of the colored and drips and things like that in there. And
Okay.
so, yeah, it's a process. It's there you go.
Gosh,
There's some rust.
and a chain
There's
along
some
with
rust
that.
for you.
Wow.
Right. You
Gee.
gotta hang them over the hot coals there, in the dungeon,
Right.
man. No doubt.
Man, that is that is amazing.
Oh,
So
there you
yeah,
go.
okay.
There's the picture with Thrice in the tree. Yeah. Or backup one. Yeah. It's the picture with her.
Wow.
Um,
Okay. Okay, so let
right,
me
right
oh,
there.
this
Yeah.
one right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so,
that I mean,
yeah.
and that fits in perfectly with that. My gosh, dude, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
that is absolutely fantastic. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, gosh, dude. Okay, so we got some folks that are actually mentioning some other stuff. He says also Steve said add a link from the Legend of Zelda figure on the way. Oh yeah, that tree would that's what I mean. That tree would totally fit for
Yeah.
having like a Zelda type figure. I mean, that would just fit
Yeah.
perfectly in that. Uh okay, so Tommy wants to know is a tree, is it a resin print or is that
Whew. No, if that was resin, that thing would weigh like 16 pounds, man. No, no. So it's an FDM print, and part of the nice thing about FDM and printing trees and stuff like this is it's so much more durable than resin. If you drop
okay?
a resin print on the floor, you're guaranteed it's forget about it.
Oh, okay.
The FDM prints are so durable and so light that it's just such a much better option when it comes to a lot of the props that I make. I still do stuff in resin, but it has depends on the prop. Most of the stuff I do now is FDM because
Okay.
it's lighter and stronger. So
Okay. Okay. Oh, and we got Ian
yeah.
just showed up. He is like, oh yeah,
Oh,
man, being
what's up,
genius.
Ian? What's going on, Ian? This guy Ian, he just put out a really nice photo with I think it was a legendary barbarian or something, or Conan, I can't remember, with the dragon. Looks
Man,
really really great,
to
really
say
nice.
that Ian put out a nice photo, that's an understatement. 'Cause
I know, right?
the way Ian puts out stuff is like, my gosh, dude.
I know, right?
So,
Yeah.
Trotter got gosh, so many questions. Is this making a small snow cap mount? Okay.
Well, so I've got so many questions. How would you go about making a small snow-capped mountain and a forest below? Well, what size figures are you shooting to begin with? Because I mean, those would have to be separate things. You'd have to do a snow-capped mountain in the far back. You'd have to have a
Mm,
lot. I mean, you'd have to set that up in probably layers. You couldn't do it all as one dial. If you're shooting 1/12 figures, I mean, you know, um, the best the best approach for that would probably be separate pieces, and then Mythic Legions. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're almost 1/12, but yeah, I mean if you want to get a mountain cap in the back, then you could just sometimes what you do is you just build a piece of something. It doesn't have to be the whole mountain. You can just build the cap and then have your trees or whatever on the bottom, and have the cap set on the back with some blocks or something hiding it, and then I mean you could shoot it that way, but it would definitely be in layers. And I mean in not layers, but you'd have your forest, and then you'd have behind that
Mm,
just the cap or something. You
right,
know,
right.
that's probably a way that I would do it. I wouldn't build a whole mountain. I just build the tip at the top, or a couple ragged bits. Um,
Yeah.
a strip that was carved out and it just had a flat bottom, and you could just hold it up with something, be
Yes,
one way to
I
do
would say that too,
it.
and just it's like do it small and just let the person's imagination do the rest.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, in their mind, the
Or
mountain's going for forever.
and the other thing too, sometimes it's not even making that stuff. Sometimes you make one piece like the trees, and then you fill the rest in with a background stock image, on a television screen, just because it's so
Mm,
much more practical.
right,
Um, you
right.
don't always have the resources or the room to do all that stuff, and then to create the shot. If you have a forest, which sounds like a lot of trees, and then you have a mountaintop behind it, you're
Mhm.
creating all this space between the figure and the background that sometimes it's just not even practical. It's just better to go to like a digital image or something for that. But
Yes, actually, I've seen some other examples from that. From Sean Canary.
uh-huh.
He's done some stuff like that. Jesse Firerising, I've seen him some of
Oh
his
yeah,
behind the scenes stuff. He does the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It's like it saves on time, and when I mean, just from experience of like the little things that I've built, sometimes I don't know. I guess I'm a little vague when it comes to the build, so that I can use it for other things, and no one will recognize a piece, from other stuff. So yeah, I
yeah,
totally get it. Just do a little bit and
yeah,
let the settings do the rest
yeah.
for that.
True.
So Brand wants to know, how do you balance the tree?
Seems difficult to do in a computer. I'm
Yeah,
not sure about the last part, but balancing the tree. I mean, if you're talking about like these trees that I make, they're flat
right,
bottom
right.
trees. So in that
Okay.
regard, if that's what you're referring to, but I'm not sure about the last part of the question. Seems
Okay,
difficult to do in a computer.
so when you're doing let me pull this back up, because just based off of how it looks, it doesn't look like the base of the tree is flat. Uh,
Oh,
so it's good for you to show the bottom, like, no, it's
no,
flat on
yeah,
there, but it's at an
they're flat.
angle.
They're
Yeah.
flat, and then what you do is you put your dirt on your diorama around the base of it, and
Mhm,
so it sits flat, and your dirt kind of comes up, and your moss and whatever else you want to use to fill in the frame,
mhm.
just and this just sits flat. Yeah. So yeah, but
Okay.
it's flat. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Nice. I mean, hey, we'll just call that movie magic, and
I got it. I got it figured out for you.
yeah.
It's
So, Ian actually has a question here. What do you use for to add wood, again, texture and into your sculpts? Okay.
so I model stuff in one program, and then I take it over to ZBrush to add my wood grain and texture. Um,
Okay.
if you're looking to like wood grain in a practical way, something that's not a 3D print, I mean, if you're using foam, you can use broken popsicle stick. You can use a wire brush. You can use various things like that. But if
Mhm.
you're talking about 3D printing, I do that in ZBrush. It's like the only
Yeah.
thing I know how to do in ZBrush.
Okay.
ZBrush ZBrush is it's a tangled web of nonsense for the most part for me, but I know what I need to do in it, and that's it, man.
Yeah.
You know.
So, okay, create a basis for for the patients to create all that. Yeah, and see, that's what I say, man. It's for some areas of photography, toy photography, and areas like this, man, it's a whole nother level of patience
Yeah,
to be able to do that, and to
yeah,
build and airbrush all the pieces and everything. So yeah,
yeah.
it is an
And
acquired taste to be trying to have patience for that.
you're right. My wife says just the opposite. She says you can sit in there all day and you're so patient with that stuff, but in real life you have no patience. And I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, you're probably right. But
Right.
in my favor, the older I get, the more patient in real life I become too. So,
Yes. Yes, that's
but
true. That's true.
but yeah,
Hey,
no, it does.
sometimes you go there because you've lost patience in other areas.
There you go. That's right. No doubt.
So okay, so when you design a tree in a computer, how do you make sure it stands upright? So like when you're
So what I'll do is when I model those trees, for example, those I start out in ZBrush, and then
okay.
I'll create the tree, and I'm sure there's a way you can do it in ZBrush. I
Mhm.
don't know it, and I've never been able to do it. So I export that STL file over into a CAD program that I use to design my other stuff, and then I just do a planar, what's called a planar cut on there.
Okay.
I'll model extra in ZBrush on the bottom, and then
Okay.
I'll take that into ZBrush. I'll take that into the CAD program I use is Fusion 360. It's Autodesk, and then I'll take the STL file from ZBrush, the tree, into the CAD program, and I'll just do what's called a planar cut, and I'll cut
Okay.
a flat plane on the bottom of it, and that's it.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So, oh, Ian, so when you go there, 3D prints don't talk back. So,
Hey, you're right. Right about that.
so it looks like Trotter has another question here. A sci-fi hallway. Oh, Joy Toy Space Marines. Oh, see, in my part or my defense, I use the ubiquitous sets that they released a while back, and those you can snap together and put any
Yeah,
kind of design to it. There
sure.
was one issue we released. Oh gosh, I can't remember what issue it had. Um, gosh, I can't remember. I have to look it up. But we had one diorama tutorial where a whole space station, just like the corridor was built
Mhm.
for that, and that was a good tutorial. But that was the scale was for like 1/6 scale.
Mhm.
So for the sake of like 1/12 scale and stuff like that, what kind of ideas could you give for those dials?
So the thing about sci-fi stuff like that is, and I'm not a sci-fi guy,
Okay.
but I know that. So as a kid, I would sit and I would play with spark plugs and batteries and all kinds
Okay.
of old bits of automotive stuff. You can take so many bits of things like that and you know attach that to some sort of board or foam, flat black spray paint over the top of it with a
Okay.
little bit of atmosphere aerosol and a light, coming from above and one coming from behind with maybe a gobo on it or something. And you could get away with a lot because it's sci-fi. It just has to have the shapes and the texture of all kinds of wires and things like that. I mean, those would be pretty. I don't want to say simple to create, but you could get by with doing a lot of stuff like that just from old auto parts and old brushes and springs and things like that. That you
Okay.
just you know that would be where I would start. Sometimes it's faster to do that kind of thing than to try to model stuff and print stuff. It's just faster to see what's
Yes.
available in the real
Yeah.
world. No
Right.
doubt.
Right. Very
Yes,
true. Yeah, and that does help.
internals of
Just
Yeah, like Bram says, the internals of old computers, stuff just like that. Absolutely.
yeah.
Fans, circuit boards, all those kinds of things. You know, and yeah, and that's it, man.
Yeah.
It's about creating mood and texture with sci-fi. Yeah.
Right. 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 And yeah, that's so many things that you can pull from. As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
one of our other members, Ken did a really good shot with his Legos, but he
Mhm.
used like a cheese grater. And
I saw that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the perfect use for, you know.
Yeah. Yes. And you see stuff in everyday life like that. What's up, sketches? That
Yeah.
that you know you wouldn't know what it was because you're just using a real cropped in part of it.
Right.
And so much stuff looks like other stuff that you just got to be creative and have an eye for it. I mean, you know.
Yes. 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 That's true. That's true. Extreme says, I'm not sure if it was
Mhm.
done. I think the company was Ubiquitous. That did the
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
I
I
think
got
that's the name of the company. Yeah.
I got the piece down here because I mean, this is pretty much the only spot I can store it right underneath my computer here. Uh, and this was mainly for
Mhm.
1/12 scale figures, but I just bought two sets and put it
Yeah.
together. And so this is my little hallway that I use. I have my light shining on the thing, or I'll turn it size and do it a number of different ways. But it was mainly made for 1/12 scale figures, And so I was like, well, I'll just buy the two and then just double the size, and then I'll
Yeah.
have what I want. But yeah,
Hmm.
I don't even know if I think you might be able to find some pieces. Yeah, Steve, it is. It is. That's exactly what it is. The ubiquitous. Yes. You might be able to find some pieces on Big Bad Toy Store, I think, but I haven't really seen it anywhere else.
And if you look at that, not downplaying, what a great
Mhm,
prop it is, but
mhm.
there's nothing really that stands out on
Yep.
it that
Yep.
is
Yeah.
oh, I can't find that in real life and spray paint it black and put some
Right.
lights through it.
Right.
And and
Right.
and so
Right.
that's part of the fun of doing toy photography
Yeah.
is being able to come up with that kind of stuff. Um
Yes. Yeah.
and
Because it's very simple. Uh, so whenever there's times I want to do another shot, I I'll use it
Mhm.
just like any other piece where it's there, but if I want it to look different, I gotta add extra stuff to it.
Yeah,
Add some other things, and because
yeah,
in and of itself, it is very simple. It's very simple, very plain.
yeah.
But if you want to give it that that
Depth.
lived in look,
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
add some extra stuff. It's
Yes.
just way too
Yeah.
simple to be to be doing that. So,
Right. Right.
yeah. So, BBTS has two. Oh, okay. All right. Well, they're still there, but I mean, I would say that is a good set to use as a starting point.
Yeah.
If you want to, just want to find an area where you can just kind of get started. That's a good place
Hmm.
to start.
Yeah.
Uh, oh yeah, sketches is here. He said, "Yo yo." So what's going on, sir? Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
matter of fact, I'm gonna show. This was an image. This is like we do have a few photos to critique, but I have
Mhm.
one that I wanted to show because of the fact that there was some built pieces
Mhm.
into it. So I want to take it. You may have seen it already. This was a photo that was submitted by Ken earlier today. Um, and he also threw in some other shots as well, but this is one of his photos, and I believe he did print a number of these pieces that are also in the shot.
Mhm.
Because he also included this shot as well.
Mhm.
So you can see some of the stuff that he threw in, like all the little
Bits of
trash
rubbish. Mhm.
pieces, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is the kind of thing that just builds character. It's like this is one of
Yeah.
those things where if you're building a set like this and you mess up, it's okay because it just
All right.
adds to the overall look to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, but this is like a wider shot of everything that he did, and so I think Ken did a great job with
Yeah.
this. So he only submitted the photo, but I knew about the other things, so I just added them in. But I'm curious to hear what your opinion is on this setup.
Yeah. No, I mean, stuff like this is important to have in your, in your box of goodies because it's s- anytime you do an alleyway, anytime you do a city, anytime you do anything, there's always bits like this that are needed. So they're
Mhm.
pretty universal, and it's definitely a nice handful of stuff to have here.
Yeah.
Trash cans, crates. I mean, you can't do a proper alley scene or a gas station or some sidewalk scene without stuff just like this. I mean, it
Yes.
adds the depth and it adds the story, and it
Yes.
makes the photo go from boring to it fills out the frame with stuff for you to look at.
Very true, very true. I mean, it looks like it's lived in, like
Yeah, yeah,
there's things going on in the city, and that's really what we're trying to do when it comes to toy photography is
yeah.
you want people to look at the image, but you want the viewer's imagination to go beyond the image
Hmm.
to help tell the story. So yeah, that
Yes,
was and
yeah,
again, this is it here, and
yeah.
I think this is a great example of all of that.
Yeah, I love those old tires in the back. Otherwise, you have just a figure against a foam brick wall, and it's just it just takes it to a different level, and
Yeah.
helps the viewer search around with the eye, and find little, Easter eggs in there, and just it helps tell a story.
Right.
All those
Right.
bits.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things I like is it's after you get your initial view of the shot, uh
Mhm.
the more time you spend with it, that just goes to show how good the image is, because just like now you're trying to spend more time looking at and understanding the set pieces that are all around and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So yeah, this is
And
definitely a
another thing that's interesting about this kind of thing is whoever does this type of shot, there's nothing by accident in this
right.
shot. Everything was placed where it's placed. It didn't just happen by itself. And so there's a lot of time and preparation that goes into making a shot like this, and the placement of all the different things. Do you want to see what side of that can do you want to see? How do you want to see the duffel bag full of money? I think it is. So
Hmm.
everything is intentional and thought out. And so it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really good. I haven't really seen I haven't seen Ken do a lot of stuff like this where I think this is the first image I've seen where he like really went all out. There was uh Ken was one of the guys who was in our photography challenge show, and there's one particular shot that he did where we showed the behind the scenes of how he did the shot.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'll just say all he did, and this you guys might be wondering, like, what are you talking about? You just have to just go watch the episode. But if you look at all the stuff he did with all the Cheetos, you know what I mean? Because man, he put a lot of attention to detail in his shot. And so this one, I think he just went even further with all of the pieces in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I would say this is a great shot. But I wanted to show this first because of all of he actually showed the behind the scenes with it, with all of his pieces that he had set up.
Yeah.
And this is again, this is the downside to doing a shot like this, because this is all that we see. But
Yeah.
when it comes to zooming out, this is all the extra stuff that he had,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
comes with the territory. Sometimes you spend a lot of time building something and it never ends up in the shot. so
Nope. You set it
so
all
but you
up
can use it
and
another time.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so this was good. So thanks Ken for submitting the photo. I think this was really good.
Yeah.
We have another image here. It's from Jay. Uh Man, I Jay does a good job just uh really bringing life to which really pieces of plastic, and just giving it some emotion and stuff like that. So I mean, there's no doubt. I have no doubt that other people who know nothing about toy photography will look at these images and not even realize it's a toy.
Yeah.
So,
That's when it's good. Yeah, when they don't even
yeah,
know, right? No
yeah,
doubt. No
yeah.
doubt.
So
Is this
this
a
is
1/6 figure?
yeah. This is
Okay. Yeah.
1/6. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So really, really nice details. But this is kind of like Jay's signature thing with
Mhm.
this is capturing the I mean, he's always just really good with his lighting, and that's what adds to it. Because I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's pictures out there of like this same figure, but you can totally
Mhm.
tell it's a toy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for shots like this, it's his lighting is done really well. So yeah, this is definitely
Yeah,
a good shot from Jay.
it's nice up there in the top, in the part where the hair is, that he didn't let it all go to black. There's a highlight up there where the hair is parted
Yeah.
on top. And that little things like that really make it pop out, help give depth and dimension and make it not look like a toy. So
Right.
that one single highlight up there on the right, and then that little bit of light on the left side of the hair there, just that's a great
And that's the
job.
thing.
Mm,
I think
mm,
also with his hand, because
yeah.
sometimes that's another way you can tell it's a toy is you'll see
Mhm.
these plastic hands. So for making the hand out of focus,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that looks
Yep.
really good. So even if your eye is drawn to it, your eye is
Mhm.
immediately drawn back to what is in focus, and it just
Yes.
helps the
Yeah,
overall image. So
no doubt.
yeah,
No
definitely
doubt.
a good one here. So we do have one final image. This is another one from
Mm,
Bram that he put in. I guess he was again, he was telling the story of which we saw last week. So if you guys go watch last week's episode, you'll see what happened to Mando as a result of this comic. But he's said he'll shoot through Beskar, and then he's thinking like, I better buy this before someone pulls the trigger on me. So yeah, and then you'll see what actually happens to him last week when we looked at his image. But again, I like this because again I'm looking at the set pieces
yeah.
here. So Bram, man, I actually have a question for you. Like what did you use for all the set pieces around here? Do you actually have diorama pieces that you built for this, or did you use computer for this other thing? Because I believe the truck, I don't think that's the same truck that he used for his link shots. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I mean still the full setup in the background. Is it Wait a minute, is that a guy in the
Yeah.
background?
Yeah. Somebody leaning against the wall back there in the corner. I can't
Oh
tell
yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I
I
see the
like
feet there. Oh, okay.
I like the comic book panel and that over the top shot on the bottom. That's just a great perspective, and it's definitely it looks really cool,
Yes.
man. Just totally comic book like, and it's just
Right.
really great way to look down at that and see what's in the trunk, see everything. It's just a nice looking shot, and it's and over the top
Yeah,
shots are
really good.
kind of tough.
They
It
are.
looks great.
They are because
Yeah.
it's not an easy task to pull off,
No
and it looks like there's some steam coming from a
steam coming out
manifold
of
cover.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Right. I
sure.
mean,
Oh, look at that.
looks
We got
great, man.
Curtis up
Oh,
there.
what's up, Trevor? What's
Let's
going
go
on,
there. How you
Trevor?
doing, making the see? Look, yes,
No, that's
I think uh, this is a really good shot. I don't do a whole lot of overhead shots because of how difficult it is to
yeah,
try and pull that stuff off. So yeah,
and
he definitely
it's
did a
balanced, and I mean, you don't have to see the faces. It's balanced. It looks great. It's
right.
really looks nice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is a good shot. But man, I didn't even notice the guy in the background, the way
The guy in
he
the back.
kind of blended in.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I guess because this arm is what kind of threw me off because as far as where my eye went, I
Hmm.
saw the lightest color. I mean, that's really what you're drawn
Yeah.
to is a lightest color.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
saw this and I didn't even really pay attention to the helmet until I
Yeah.
zoomed in and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay.
I think
So
there's a little dog back there too, or something. Is that a little dog or
yeah, it
cat back
looks
there in the
like
very back? Yeah.
a dog or a cat or something
Yeah.
there. So, yeah.
But he filled that
So
space
yeah.
in.
So
He put something in that space, and so that's good too. He just didn't let the space go to waste. It was, he put something there, so that was good.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Bram does say he says yeah, that's a dog
Okay,
that he put back there. So
nice, right on.
very good, very good. Yes, I think that was the last shot that we threw in here. You know what? Actually,
Right on.
I'm gonna try and go back because I was trying to get this other one to load, but I'm not sure why it's not loading up. I was trying to get the other pages in. Oh, okay, there we go.
Mm,
And that was the last page. So you know what? Let me let me pull
okay.
this up real quick so everyone can see the last page that's that we threw in here for that issue. Let me see, where are you? There you are. So yeah, so this was a final thing after you were able to see all the
Oh,
textures and everything, and then showing the complete setup. But that was one of the things I liked about the whole thing is showing the full setup of everything. Uh,
yeah.
so I actually have a question for this particular setup that you did.
Mhm.
Um, So for this, like the pillars and things,
Mhm.
I guess after you built everything, you then tore pieces out from that
Yeah, pretty
and then
much. Yeah,
airbrush the rest.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Actually, there's not even any. I don't think I airbrushed any of that. I think that's all. I might have. Okay, so on those walls, I used air. So on the walls, I used rattle can. I just used a stone flat gray.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I went through and I may have looking at it, I may have airbrushed some of the in between the bricks with a light black. But the rest of it is just dry brushed on there. And so,
Okay.
but
Okay.
but you're right. Yeah, on the archway, I just do all the lines and everything, and then I just tear little bits and pieces out. I hit it actually with a wire brush and probably a there's a long knife that I have, and you don't have to use this knife, but it's a insulation knife, and
Oh,
it has a really long blade on it. It looks like a fillet knife actually, but it's not. It's
okay.
and and you can cut and you can scrape and you can do a lot of different directions with it, and it just gives a really varied. It creates a lot of varied looks to the foam when you want to cut it or tear it or scrape it, and it's just a handy little tool to have. You can use any knife for that probably, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's how I did it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure if anybody's trying to, pull off the same things you're pulling off, they want to know like what what kind of stuff that you use. So,
Let me see.
matter of fact, let
That
me
particular knife, I think I have it right here. Let me see.
okay.
It's yeah. Here you go. If you want to be brand specific, it's Milwaukee. Let's see. There you go. That's it right
Okay.
there.
And actually that was the other thing I was going to ask you. So, when you are doing your builds, and
Uh-huh.
I know this is just like your personal things, but when you're doing your builds, what are like your go-to tools that you use just about every single time when you're making your set pieces or building anything? Do you have any specific tools that you use like all the time?
When you're talking about building stuff out of foam, um, I mean, I always want to try new stuff, and so I'll watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and I'll look and sort of glean stuff from different channels and different people's styles and stuff.
Hmm.
And so, but I think my main tools are as far as foam goes, Mod Podge,
Okay.
a knife like that you see,
Hmm.
um, maybe a Proxon cutter. You don't need a Proxon cutter, but I have one, and so it's very helpful to create those walls that you saw in that diorama.
Okay.
Um, you know, cheap brushes. Most of what I paint with um, is just apple barrel paints, cheap inexpensive acrylic paints, spray paints.
Mm.
Um, there's just a lot of ways to achieve the same type of effect, but I go with those things a lot. Uh, Mod Podge,
Okay.
PBA glue, a knife, texturing tools like sticks or rocks, things like that.
Okay.
But
Actually, so Bram was asking as well. So when you do your stuff, do you actually seal the paper? Do you put any kind of sealer on your stuff, or you just leave it as is?
yeah, so what I do, if you're talking about foam,
Hmm.
I do a couple different things. I have well, it's in my cabinet over here. I use one of my go-to tools is an aerosol Mod Podge. Um,
Okay.
I think the yeah, I sprayed that dungeon with an aerosol Mod Podge, but I do also use just I brush on a regular Mod Podge, and real thin coat of that. So I do seal all my 3D prints with an aerosol Mod Podge because of
Uh,
paint and flaking, and I use a lot of things that could like stain the figures or something that could get on your hands, and so I want to seal that up. Sometimes I use no. Let me take that back. I don't recall a time ever that I use actual liquid Mod Podge sealing a 3D print. That's always for foam builds
okay.
or things like that. So you know, hope that
Gotcha.
answered that question.
Yeah. Because I was kind of thinking the same way because I have so I mean this just goes to show how simple I am when it comes to diorama builds. I remember talking to you about the brick wall that
Uh-huh.
I made.
Oh yeah.
That came out, man, that came out so great. But I honestly I didn't put any kind of sealer on it because
Mhm.
I just didn't know if when I use it in photography, would it reflect light more than what I needed to. So that's
So
why
yeah.
I didn't put any kind of sealer on it or anything. I just stored it in a spot where I can keep protected and just
Yeah.
leave it. So
That
yeah,
brings up that brings up a good point because that Mod Podge aerosol that I use is all matte. I don't use any gloss for that reason that
yeah,
you're talking about.
yes,
And even my regular Mod Podge, all my Mod Podge. Well, this is let's see. I have two bottles here, and even this is all matte Mod Podge. I don't use the glossy
okay,
Mod Podge. Um,
okay,
but if you happen to, and here's another trick. So if you spray paint something, say you like a color of spray paint, but there's only a gloss or a semi-gloss version of it,
hmm
or you only have glossy Mod Podge on hand and you want to dull it down,
hmm
just spray isopropyl alcohol over the top of it after it dries. Hit it with a hair dryer or something after
yeah,
it sits on there for a second, and it'll dull it down. That's sometimes that's what I do,
really, okay,
with a especially with a spray paint. Like I'll like certain color spray paints, but they only make it in gloss, and I'm like, man, and I want to dull it down, and so
yeah,
that's what I do. I
wow.
keep
Yeah, it's funny because Bram is actually asking that right now. He says she'll leave an unwanted sheen on it. So yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Just I have isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle, and I'll just spray something after I'm done with it. Hit it with the air dryer, uh,
okay,
and that way it doesn't stay on there too long,
okay.
and affect the paint or the sealant itself. And
Oh
then
yeah, so
yeah,
you put it on there and then you dry it really fast so that it doesn't continue to do its
yeah,
work. I
and
got you. Okay.
that dries it, that dulls it right down, you know. So
Mm, okay.
yep.
Yeah, that is a great tip for that. So yeah, man, that's because that's one of the problems that I ran into. Also, this was just a mistake that I made, and then when I did it a second time, I fixed it. But so I have the 1/6 scale Arthur Morgan and John Marston figures. So I wanted some cowboy figures. So I
Yes.
made a diorama, backdrop with using popsicle sticks.
Hmm.
And so I painted the sticks the first time, which was a big mistake because I painted the stuff using acrylic paint in some areas, and then I used just regular like Elmer's glue,
Hmm.
which was another big mistake because all of that stuff has water in it, and it
Yeah.
warped all of my popsicle sticks that I
Right.
did. So after a while, the glue I mean, literally, the popsicle sticks started to kind of just pop
But oh,
off
okay.
of the foam because when they
Yeah.
were changing, they would pull away from the glue, and it was just bad. So
Contracting. Yeah.
yeah, so when I did it the second time, what I used was just actual wood stainer
Hmm.
on the popsicle stick so I can get it to the color that I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I used I can't remember the different kind of glue that I used, but I used glue that was specifically for wood that didn't have the
The
moisture
moisture.
in it.
Yeah.
And I did that, and my piece just came out really well. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can pull this up really quick to show you guys.
Right on. Right on. He pulls that up and then he zooms in on my face. Wonderful.
Right. So, I was like, here it is. I'm like still away from the thing, but I was like, oops, yep, sorry, wrong about that. So this is what my final result ended up being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just using the wood for stuff, and then and now, I mean, once I went over it with the wood
Hmm.
stainer, then
Yeah.
I just used just sandpaper and just went over the
Mhm.
whole thing, and that gave that worn look, that weathered look on the whole thing. But yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I think it came out to a lot. But well, I'll say it came out better than the other one I did. That's for sure. So,
That looks great. Yeah.
yeah,
There's so many ways to build stuff. I mean, and you learn from trial and error. Like you say, you won't do that again because you
yeah,
know which glues do what to wood. And so it's just
yes,
something that you
yes,
want in.
yeah. And that's good when you're building, like, set pieces. You start out small.
Yeah.
That way, if you make the mistakes, it's like, okay, I know what not to use and things like that.
Yeah.
And then when you finally take on that large diorama piece, you're
Yeah.
working with materials that you've already worked with before, and you try certain things and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then, again, like watching stuff, from your channel and the tips you give it on your Instagram and stuff like that. So it helps to just learn from you as and other guys out there that just do, phenomenal photos.
Yeah.
The other guys that come to mind is Oilers Workshop, uh,
Oh gosh.
which
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but and
Fantastic.
as a matter of fact, so Oilers Workshop is the one who did the space station uh
Yeah.
set piece for one of our other issues, and then Jonathan Random Diorama. He's also another great guy that gives, tips and everything. And he does his live streams, so you can watch him as he's building the stuff and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, learning from those guys and you as well. I mean, it's just it's a it's there's so many folks out there that have such rich information that you can learn from and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely good to learn from all these guys, uh
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so quick question, how did you get into it, like get into the
Well,
diorama building? What made you want to start that?
well, I've always been into photography. I've been doing photography for like 25 years. And so when I got into toy
Wow.
photography, I'm like, well, this is cool, but all I had was portrait gear at the time. And so black seamless and white seamless and different things to shoot a figure in front of. And I'm looking at these people's photos and they're either taking them outside or, where they've got natural stuff, or they're taking them in front of these cool sets. And I'm like, what are these sets? I've never seen these before. And then I'm like, oh, these are dioramas. And since you can't, for me, the type of figures that I like and the type of stories that I like, those types of things aren't available anywhere or outside or anything like that. Rusty, cages and things like that is what I like. And so it just kind of sent me down that hole of, well, let me try making a brick wall. Okay, I made a brick wall that looked like crap. Let me let me make another brick wall, and let me try to cut a door. And it just sort of progressed into making environmental sort of rooms or something, and not a whole diorama, but just like a single room out of three pieces of foam. And then I
Mhm.
had these walls, and I'm like, well, these walls are cool, but there's nothing on them. Okay, so that further down the rabbit hole you go. Now we need to
Yeah.
make things for the walls. Oh, now we need to make torn up curtains, or so it just came out of a need for wanting to tell a story in my imagination, and just needing the props to do it. And that was it. Just down the hole you go, and it
Yeah.
never ends.
That's
you
exactly what
know
it is. It is a rabbit hole you start going
yeah, I mean,
so
it absolutely is. But
yeah.
it's all in a love for wanting to make a good image. That's how it all started, was just wanting to photograph figures in a cool way. And I wasn't able to do it. I mean, yeah, I could light it and all that stuff, but there's no story, there's no set, there's no scene. And so,
Yes.
you know
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's the same thing when, I mean, as far as getting into toy photography, that's how I got into my stuff. It's like you doing your
yeah,
own thing, and then you start looking at other people, and it's like, wait a minute, where did they get that from? And so you
yeah,
start
yeah,
asking more and more questions about everything. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that totally makes sense. That
And I
totally
went
makes sense.
through the phase where, I'd run to Michael's and buy a miniature barbecue grill, or I'd go on eBay and I'd buy a little plastic. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? But this stuff doesn't really look that good. I'm like, and then
Right.
not only that, it's expensive. And
Yes.
and so I'm
Yes.
like, man, if I want to do any of this stuff, it's going to cost me so much money. which funny story is it cost me way more now because I had to buy printers and everything else. So I
Yeah.
probably would have saved money in the long run had I just continued to buy stuff at Michael's. But I'd have came out cheaper,
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it started. I just wanted to make a cool photo with some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yes. And man, like I said,
Yeah.
it's going well because you now have your own uh uh your website where you sell some of the stuff that you make.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I have Etsy and a website, and I sell stuff
Okay.
regularly, daily. Matter of fact, somebody just ordered 30 barrels from me. They ordered 10 sets of barrels, and so I've got
Wow.
a lot of barrels to paint.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, so 30
Wow.
barrels. The painting isn't
Oh,
bad; it's the masking that takes forever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Right,
but
right, right.
you know,
Yes. Well, Mike, man, I want to thank you for joining us for today, man. It's just
yeah,
man, this is just a really a really great treat. So just for those of you who I'm gonna pull this up so everyone can see if
sure.
you haven't followed Mike on his Instagram page, Insightful Imagery is there. And again, you guys can see there's so much stuff that he builds and so many things that you can learn from him. I mean, literally the issue or the two issues that we have featured Mike in, I mean, I can't even call that the tip of the iceberg of all the things that Mike has done. So if you guys haven't started following him, I strongly recommend you guys follow his channel. But Mike, again, man, thanks so much for joining us today, dude. It's such a privilege to see today. So
Yeah,
that's going to do it for us for today. Please, again, like and subscribe because we will have some more people that's going to be showing up. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and just toss it out there that we have another special guest that we are going to be coming that's going to be visiting us, but specifically for our toytography dynamics.
ah,
So he's going to be showing us all about posing figures and things like that, and that's what we want to do. We want to cover a number of different
mm,
areas. So we have someone who is, oh man, he's a phenomenal guy when it comes to posing figures, and so we're actually going to be meeting up with him. So that's going to be
nice.
a cool time to chat with him. But again, you guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on our next episode of Toytography Live. And Mike, you got anything you want to share? Anything you're working on right now? Anything coming up?
I mean, I'm just getting stuff ready for Legions Con. That's a few months away still, but I'm getting things printed and ready for that.
Okay.
I am working on the hand trolley at the moment for a railroad set that I want to do. So
Okay.
here's a hand trolley. I've got the design done. I'm going to go ahead and do the texturing and paint these and make some sections of track. But this would be a cool prop for the 112 figures, Mezcos and stuff. So I'm working on that. Um,
Okay.
got my ice chest done. I mean, I'm always modeling something. And if you're a 3D printer and you want free 3D prints, you can become a member of my Patreon. And I do tutorials and tips and photography stuff and free STL files all month long. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I do on there, and so you can check that out.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll say send me those links because
Mhm.
we'll put it in the Facebook group
Okay,
so it's all listed there so people can
okay,
go straight to the stuff that you have. So yeah, so we'll
cool.
add that. So
Yeah,
again, man, thanks very much for tuning in today. Again, that's going to do it for us for today, guys, and we will see you in our next Toytography live show. Have a great rest of your
right
weekend.
on. Thanks.